Today we gather as a community to recall the year, remember the blessings, to celebrate and feast together. In our recollections, we realize that each one in our community, from the youngest to the eldest, is vital to the life and vitality of this parish. But first, we must work our way through this parable. The parable of the talents is one of three told by Jesus to his disciples several days before the Passover. We hear it as the end of our church year approaches and ordinary time gives way to Advent, as fall gives way to winter, and our readings focus on end times. At the beginning of the reading, the master is going away for an undetermined length of time and doesn't want his property to lie fallow in his absence. So he entrusts 3 of his servants with his property while he's away, giving one 5 talents, one 2 talents, and one 1 talent. A talent was a measure of money worth 15 years of wages by a day laborer. So they were entrusted with great wealth, but each to their abilities. When the master goes away, giving them freedom to sort out their own way of addressing what has been entrusted to them. The first 2 recognize the risk their master is taking, realize his generosity, and trust in them. They take the wealth and invest it. In today's world, their actions may be akin to investing in the stock market or in a business which yields a profit. Perhaps the first one followed the markets and the trade routes, and knew what was happening and invested in a business venture which paid off, doubling the return. And the other might have been a farmer, and he invested the money in more seed, working harder, resulting in a gain. Both were risky ventures. They could have lost it all, but they didn't. The third, fearing his master, fails to take a risk. He buries the talent in the ground, which in that time was a secure way to ensure the value of the property. Today it would be like locking it away in a safe deposit box. The property retains its value, but doesn't increase. He could have put it in a savings account, risk-free. He was paralyzed by fear and distrust, failing his master. Ultimately, hoarding his talent, burying it, hiding it under a bushel basket. The word talent over time has come to also represent the gifts we have been given. Every talent is necessary in God's divine economy. Beautiful cathedrals require imaginative architects, skilled artisans, as well as laborers to dig the foundations, lay the stones, and install the roofs. The talents are different, yet all are necessary for the building of a cathedral or the building of the ministry of Good Shepherd. Each person is differently gifted and advantaged, and each person in this life is tasked with the wise use of their gift. We are to have courage, step out in faith, to use and make the most of the opportunity of this life and the blessed gifts we have been given. Being unwilling to risk, to engage our gifts in the world, can feel like a place of torment. Our minds work overtime and our anxieties rise. We banish ourselves to the outer darkness when we allow our fear of failure to prevent us from living into our gifts. The servants who took a risk and didn't lose anything, and even if they had tried, and that would have been enough. Every talent is necessary in God's divine economy. God gives each of us gifts. Some of us risk much and receive much. Some risk less and receive less. But if we succumb to our fear of losing what we have, we will not do that which we can. Trusting in Jesus, you can't lose if you take a risk. Sharing your gift of time, talent, and treasure, something wonderful will happen, even if the risk doesn't pan out. If you use a gift, it increases. If you neglect a gift, it diminishes, even fades away. So take a risk, use your gift, give your best, and watch what happens.